from your point of view?
My point of view, at the time, you and I was rocking. You know, we was doing these interviews. We were getting great responses from the people. They were getting a whole lot of views and all of that. Boom.
Right.
We ended up having a relationship, you know, outside of the videos and all of that type of shit. You know what I mean? And
no Diddy.
You
gotta put that out there. Yeah, very clear these days.
And see, the fact that you say no Diddy, let me just say, like, whatever goes bad in your life, nothing can be worse than becoming a saying like no Diddy. Like,
imagine someone saying no Vlad every time.
Whenever you have a bad day, that's what I'm saying. Whenever you have a bad day, just say at least. Nobody's saying no Vlad or
right.
no, you know what I mean? Like, because that would be crazy.
Right.
But anyway, all right, so I felt like we was cool. You know what I mean? We were friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
And while I was, from the beginning of doing your shit, I would run into certain people, and I'm not gonna name, it was all different kinds of people. But there would be a lot of people that would be like, I don't fuck with Vlad, da 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 da. And I'll be like, nah, you know what I mean? Vlad's cool, da da da, he's cool with me, you know what I mean? Like, and so I feel like I definitely used to stand up for you in a way, you know what I mean? Whether you knew this or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, when the Farrakhan incident came into play, and you took a stance that I definitely felt was the wrong decision, and I felt like in the past, you know, I had been somewhat of an advisor to you in certain situations, and you took my advice and it came out successful, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
So
you're like the big homie.
Right, so the fact that you was like not listening to the big homie, you know what I mean? And was just like, fuck that, I'm, you know, digging in your heels type of shit. You know, at first I was just like, okay, you know what I mean? But then it's like, people's coming at me now. Basically the sentiment is, see, we always told you about your man. Like, here he goes, doing that shit that we've been accusing him of the whole time. And I'm like, damn, Vlad, don't do that. Don't prove these motherfuckers right. You know what I mean? Don't do that. And at the time, for whatever reason, you know, you were dug in. So it was like, at that point, a stand had to be made, you know. Minister Farrakhan, regardless how anyone might feel about him, can't deny, you know, the works that he's done in the Black community and the reverence that the Black community has for Minister Farrakhan. So that made us say, well, you know what I mean? We need to do something, like, you know what I mean? Let them know that this is serious, bro. Like what could I do? You know what I mean? Go up to you, say, yo, you better fucking do this? Like, no. So it's like, all right, let's see if we could do a squeeze play and fucking see where his values are. And we felt like, especially me, I felt like I was an asset, okay, to channel to your growth and all that type of shit. And I saw that Godfrey was an asset as well. So I said, 2 assets. Let's see if this will help sway his decision. Because now it's not just the Farrakhan stuff. You got 2 dudes that you're saying is your friends and are business assets as well, and we're telling you, bro, apologize. Apologize. And you're like, and then, I know in my last conversation, it got to the point where, yeah, I was talking strong, like, nah, like, yo, you need to apologize, like you need to apologize. And so now I know that probably, you know what I mean, made you feel like, oh, well, I'm not gonna be bullied now into apology, But yeah, that was the thing.
What are you gonna say to all the people that say, yo, you're not standing on code? You said you'll never go back to Vladtv, and here you are today.
First of all, motherfucker, I always been on code. First of all, I don't think I ever say never. I said I'm not going back on, but I don't think I ever say never say never. Okay? And yeah, circumstances change. And like I said, I can't live for what people think about. You know what I mean? Think about me in their mind. They're gonna think whatever the fuck they want to think about me. Yeah. When you go through when people try to cancel you and all this type of shit, which happened to me too.
Over the Kamala Harris thing?
Several things, bro. But yeah, it all, you know what I mean? People were coming at me. They didn't like a lot of shit that I was doing. They didn't like that. Yeah, I was going at Kamala, that I supported Trump, all kinds of shit. And yeah, I've just seen people just be real flip-floppy. You know what I mean? And ignore what you've done in the past and shit like that. Like really, all this shit, all the work I've done, but now you just, you know what I mean? You're gonna take this and think you're gonna run with this, or you try to kick a motherfucker when they down and all this type of shit. Okay, I see what's going on. You know what I mean? And sometimes you need adversity because it allows you to see certain things for what they really are, and certain people, will reveal themselves, and yeah, you need that every once in a while, a good cleansing.
Yeah. Listen, it was interesting to see during that whole cancel period, people really say what they had been wanting to say for a long time. Both positive and negative. The grass was cut. I got to see how people reacted. I got to see how many people went below the belt. I got to see how many people actually stayed, solid. And yeah, man, it was an interesting time. And you also get to see what happens over the course of time, how things seem really bad in the beginning, but the next day, things slowly kind of start getting back to normal, and you got to just muscle through it.
This too shall pass. This too shall pass.
This too shall pass, and I'm not mad that it happened, but I am glad that I did do the apology. I don't think this would have happened without the apology. Just knowing who you are. Yeah, and that's cool. and look, like, I went into this, like, if you look at the early part of my interview with Willie D, I said, I know some people are going to accept it, but a lot of people are going to say, fuck you and your apology. And that's cool. I get that. And that's fine. Because I've seen a lot of fuck your apology videos from various people. I mean, including you in the beginning. But for example, like, I got a call from Killer Mike that next day and said, hey, bro, I really admire you for doing that. And me and Mike have kind of kept in contact this whole time. He's like, yo, I really admire you because I never told you, but I have a lot of people that I'm close to that are, with the NOI, and I always felt a little weird with us, because of that. But you doing that means a lot. And I'm like, oh shit, Killer Mike, the Grammy-winning Killer Mike, who does tours with Dave Chappelle and creates really dope music, just called me out the blue to tell me that. I'm like, wow, like that made it all worthwhile. Like that phone call. I thought that was dope. And a few people in my personal life who aren't famous hit me up. I was like, yo, man, you didn't have to do that. That was dope.
The fact that he said Godfrey is going to go back to Vlad.
Godfrey is going to be a good boy for Vlad. Yeah, he is. I know he is.
He's definitely going back to Vlad.
I mean,
and he is right there, sitting there, taking photos with Vlad.
I'll
They
tell you something,
damn near have the same shorts on.
Lord Jamar. It's been 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I feel sorry
Yeah, he
for him
probably
though,
got a
because
bag.
there was
Yeah,
no
you gotta
bag.
sell something.
But the hell no.
Like
Yo.
a soul.
Yeah, you gotta sell. Yeah.
Like, how much does a soul cost?
Peace, peace, peace to all my gods and goddesses, my gods and Earths, all righteous family. This is MD Kane, as known as MarcoJah, the master teacher or future master teacher. Let me humble myself. I'm still a student, baby of the lessons. Before I start, just want to let y'all know I appreciate the love, the views. It has been a rough, grueling week for me. I have been going through hard times, but I've been trying to transform my life, do better, and maybe that could be another build, another lecture, another video, just keeping on persevering when really you're not really seeing too much progress. People are provoking you, doubting you, slandering you, talking behind your back, turning their back away from you. But just keep on pushing. Remember the ones as well who were giving you encouraging words during your hard time as well too, and looking out for you. I know a lot of good brothers and sisters around the way since I've been going through this hard time. It's been exactly a year and 9 months, but I had a lot of good talks with a lot of brothers. Some people gave me money, some people gave me food, some people gave me encouraging words. So I want to say I appreciate all the people, and as well, some of my family members, like my mother. I know we don't always see eye to eye, but my mother was really one of the few people that was there for me during this hard times I've been going through, and as well my brother, my Uncle Van, and my brother as well, my brother Mitchell. So I want to say peace to my family as well. This video, man, let's get into it, man. I wanted to do the video. I haven't edit the video as of yet. I just want to shoot the video first, and then I'll do the editing later. But this video is called "Can a Conscious Black Man Have a White Friend?" And in quotations is Lord Jamar a sellout. This comes from, and I know I'm a little late, but I just kind of wanted to see how the situation kind of played out. Vlad on Vladtv is still talking about the Farrakhan apology that he made a couple months ago on the Willie D channel. And he talked to Lord Jamar, and Lord Jamar is back on Vladtv. I will personally, and everybody might not agree with me when it comes to this, man, but like I personally, a part of me kind of enjoys seeing Lord Jamar back on as well. he stepped away from Vladtv for 5 years, and he started the You're Not a Mean Godcast. I remember Rod Digger was on there and Godfrey was on there kind of as co-host. Then it kind of went straight to only it being Lord Jamar himself. Then he transformed the show, and now it's called the God Pod. But I would say Lord Jamar, over the 5 years, being by himself, not being on Vlad, I would say he had moderate success. But he could have, he could have had a little more traction. Could have did a little better. I wish he would have kept Godfrey and Rod Digger on, or at least replaced them with 2 other co-hosts. I think Lord Jamar, he, has some interesting takes, and I agree with a lot of things that he say. Majority of everything he says, except maybe for the flat Earth, and I don't 100% agree with everything that he does. I'm kind of from another generation, so I'm not really too familiar with Brand Nubian and Lord Jamar. I didn't know who he was when he first came to Vlad. Maybe 15 years. I don't know how long he's been on Vlad. Maybe 8 years ago. So, but I feel like I had to really get on this topic since I am a quote unquote 5%er as well. Have connections with the Muslim God Cipher. Shout out to my teacher, Brother Fahim, as known as Dason of God. So, my whole take on it is, I'm going to talk about how I feel about Lord Jamar returning to Vladtv, and then as well at the end of this video, we'll talk about can a conscious man have a white friend. This might be a long video, I don't know, but we're just gonna get into it, y'all. Like I said, man, I personally, a part of me kind of enjoy seeing Lord Jamar back on Vladtv. Then it's a part of me that doesn't feel like Lord Jamar is a sellout, but I would say that he's a hypocrite. And I don't like how Vlad and Lord Jamar is tag teaming on Vladtv, saying negative things about the good brother Godfrey. And I already mentioned that Lord Jamar, I don't know if he is still doing the God Pod, but I was on Godfrey's YouTube channel, and he's has almost like 800,000 subscribers. So Godfrey is a force of his own. He single-handedly has been doing a lot better than Lord Jamar without Vlad. I think Lord Jamar is a good philosopher and someone who is good at being opinionated, but he's not really the best when it comes to being a content creator. He's good at being an online personality, but when you are a content creator, it's some work, man. It's some work. Sometimes the work can not take too long, or sometimes it can, just with editing videos. I know I have been on YouTube on and off for the past 10 years, just editing videos, promoting your videos. Sometimes people pay for promotion, putting money back into your business, getting a better camera, mics, paying guests. So I would just say Lord Jamar wasn't the best content creator, But when it comes to Godfrey, he blows back Lord Jamar, especially with Godfrey's shorts that he has that are very funny, always talking against racial racial issues and throwing in a little comedy and impersonations. His Donald Trump impersonation is pretty good, and his Vlad his Vlad impersonation is really good. So I've read it in the comment section, and then as well, I don't know all the details about this, but it said that Lord Jamar fell out with Godfrey due to a argument over the flat Earth theory. But Lord Jamar, he's a flat Earth supporter, but people are saying in the comments on Vladtv that they fell out because of that, and Lord Jamar was the main one telling everybody to stay on coal, not to go on Vlad, and he convinced Godfrey or urged Godfrey not to go back on Vlad, and Godfrey agreed, and basically saying he was never going to go on Vladtv anymore. So Lord Jamar went back to Vladtv after the apology, and then he issued a video, which I just showed y'all, where he's in a pool and he's saying, hey man, this man has 6 million subscribers. I feel like it's better for me and I have an opportunity, more of an opportunity to spread my message, and basically saying too it's better for him financially and whatever. And he kind of had his attitude like he didn't care what people are saying. And me personally, man, I don't necessarily see Lord Jamar, like I said, like a sellout, but I see him as a hypocrite. I see him as someone who says he's a 5%er, but he's not all that on protocol, and it's not well versed in the lessons and in the knowledge. And I'm not saying I am either, but just when if you're like a real 5%er, you're not gonna believe the flat Earth theory. Like, we literally have to study how we really study science and the universe and how far the sun is from Earth, and and all that, and the measurements of the landmass of the Earth and all that. So that's not I don't want people to think that people from the 5% co-sign on the flat Earth theory. We really don't, but he was the main one. That's what a lot of people in the comments saying, pushing for a boycott of Vlad, and now he comes back. And I just think it's hypocritical. Now, he was honest and saying, hey, I'm going for the bag, but really, honestly, man, I believe that Lord Jamar understands that he's been doing his own thing for the past 5 years. What's shocking is that all the Vlad interviews he had before, he was never getting paid for. But now, since Vlad's channel has a little more success now Lord Jamar is getting paid. And then he said as well, we had a real friendship, me and Vlad, and I was more friends with Vlad more than I was with Godfrey and all that, which I'm gonna try to add that clip in there. I gotta figure out what clips I want to add once I'm done editing the video, but it's just, to me, man, it's just hypocritical. I would say I do enjoy that Lord Jamar is back on Vladtv, but I look at him as someone I did lost respect for him. I don't look at him as a sellout, but I did lost a little respect for him. And I don't think he's real well versed in the knowledge, especially someone he's in his mid 50s. I don't think he's well versed in the knowledge of the 5%. And if he was really about that life and is standing on the square, he wouldn't be going back to Vladtv. But he's his own grown man. I'm not gonna hate on him for chasing and getting the bag. That's where I draw the line. Now, how I feel about Vlad, I honestly, man, I don't like Vlad. I have respect for him, his hustle, and the things he has done. Over the years, he was one of the first people who really saw the future of YouTube and where it was going. He himself said that he was doing documentaries and doing stuff for rappers and DJing for rappers, and he transformed all of that and went straight into making videos and interviewing rappers. I have the common perception of Vlad that most black people have, like he's a culture vulture. He says a lot of incriminating questions and to a lot of his guests. He says a lot of judgmental and ignorant things with his questions sometimes. Like when he asks people, you got shot, why you didn't move out of the hood? Or, things like that. Or he always wants to add his opinion about the drug game and street life when he doesn't come from that at all. He's a white Ukrainian immigrant that was raised in the Bay Area in California. He has no understanding of the street, and I'm tired of hearing Vlad's opinion on street politics and things like that. I think he's really ignorant. I think he's a culture vulture. It's kind of cringy sometimes, some of the things that he says. I really feel like Vlad doesn't have respect for black culture, even though I would say for the longest, Vlad never really shared. He's recently recently shared that he has kids and he has a black wife and black kids and everything like that. He's recently being a little more, showing his personal life. But I feel like Vlad has no respect for the culture. I feel like he had respect for the culture. He would have been paying his guests from day one. He would be more careful of his line of questioning when he's talking to certain artists. And it just seems like he's very exploitive when it comes to black culture. Now, sometimes he does videos outside of black culture and hip hop, but it just seems like he can come across real exploitive and he doesn't respect the culture. Now, I really think his apology to Louis Farrakhan was genuine, but as well, I do feel like it doesn't matter anymore because it took you like 5 years to issue an apology, and basically you're saying that you knew that you was wrong. You knew that you misquoted the minister, and just out of your pride and arrogance and lack of respect for black culture, someone who has black kids and a black wife, you still disrespected our culture. Now, I know just because you don't disrespect just because you disrespect one black clergy, minister, or leader doesn't mean, hey, you don't have respect for the black community, but but you offended not all of the black race, but a good percentage of black people who revere, who follow Louis Farrakhan. I look at Louis Farrakhan as like my father, as my like a general, as somebody I would die for. As I look at him as damn near Jesus Christ. Like, you probably offended a good 15 to 20% of the black population. You know, people who really